Hey everybody, welcome to Hit Point Finance, where we treat finances like a video game. Today we're facing our first major boss. It's student loans. This isn't a random encounter. We've been waiting for this one for the last 5 years, or some people are now in school and they're going to be finishing up soon, and this is something that they're going to have to deal with going forward. But don't worry, because you've got strategies and skills and allies on your side to manage this boss. If you got federal student loans or even private student loans, you've already come across the first major boss in your life. This is one that you deal with when you're a young person, and you kind of start building up this when you're about 18, 19, and you're a kid, and you're building up this student loan boss, and you don't really realize what you're getting into until it's already a little too late. But hopefully some of these tips will help you and get you on the right path after you start your repayment. As many of you guys know, the SAVE plan is going away, and though it wasn't a perfect plan, it was a really useful plan for many of us. It capped our payments at 5 to 10% of our income, and it also stopped interest from accruing. With it going away, it's not the end of the world. There are still other repayment plans, so let's get into those. federalstudentaid.gov website. There's a lot of doom and gloom online, especially on Reddit, about student loans. I would definitely take a look at this page. It's got all the information you could ever need for your student loans. The biggest thing that we're going to be looking at today, though, are the different payment plans. So with the SAVE plan going away, it's like you're mid-boss fight and your shield just broke. So things are going to be a little tougher, and the boss is hitting a little harder now, but it's still a manageable fight, and it's something that you can take care of over time with a couple different builds. I would reach out to your loan provider and find out which one's the best one for you, find out which one's the best loan payment, the lowest payment for you, or the fastest payment that you want to pay off. A major way that you're going to want to tackle your student loans is recognize that it's not just one big boss. It's actually a lot of mini bosses. So think of it more like bite-sized ways to hit critical points to take down the boss. Like aim for the knees, aim for the elbows, aim for the shoulder, whatever the weak point is at that time, aim for that. And then you can actually snowball or avalanche these. So as you can see here, I just made a little spreadsheet really quickly of just different student loans and how they look. So as you can see, this is a big total of 116, but if you actually break this down, it's just made up of a bunch of small parts. And this would be more like a private student loan because these are high interest rates. But what you're really going to want to do in the snowball method, you're going to want to aim for this lowest one and then go higher and higher. So you'll take out this 5,000 and then you'll aim for the 8,000. And then this whole time you're doing minimum payments, but you're going to just slowly take out from smallest to largest. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to give you little dopamine wins. And every time you take out one of these, slowly but surely you'll take over the boss and you'll actually beat him. The next option is the Avalanche method. This one will actually have you pay less interest over time, but it is a little bit more demanding in discipline. So in this one, you actually aim for the highest interest rate and then go down. So for this example, you would aim for the 13%, then you would aim for the 11.6%, the 11.5%. And again, the whole time you're doing this, you're actually paying the minimum, but then at the same time, you're putting extra money in to destroy these loans at a higher rate. So hopefully this is a good strategy for you. It is like aiming for those little crit spots on the boss. You don't aim for the whole body all at once. You kind of take out a little bit at a time and take down the boss that way. This is just an average of the interest rate, and then this is the total. But as you can see, if you start taking out these things slowly but surely, you'll eventually conquer the boss. The whole time you could be making minimum payments and then go into your loan provider and pay extra towards specific loans. You have to usually put in the notes that you want it to go to principal and you want it to go directly to a specific loan. So in this case, if you're doing the Avalanche method, you would pay your minimum, which would hurt the whole thing over time, and then this would take out the bigger one first. With that last example, I did show a lot higher interest rates. That is typically what you see in private student loans, which I do think private student loans are going to become a little bit more popular because of the caps on student loans, unfortunately. If you can, try to stick within the federal student loans. They have a lot more leeway with repayment plans and all that good stuff. And they also typically have lower interest rates, like 3 to 5%, which is really manageable. Once you start getting into 6, 7, or 8%, you're going to start feeling the interest a lot, and it's pretty overwhelming. So definitely be smart when you're going to school. You're not going to want to just go and do whatever you want in school. Try to have a part-time job, do that community college, try to do all those things right, because now more than ever, it is so important to just be mindful of what you're doing in school and what you're spending your money on. Usually if you need private loans, it's going to be over like $200,000. So hopefully you're trying to become a lawyer or a doctor. Don't forget scholarships. When I was in college, there were so many scholarship options. And honestly, sometimes people just didn't even apply for them and they would win automatically because only 1 or 2 people even applied for the scholarship. So definitely try to do that. Those are some good buffs for your fight. Trying to reduce how big your boss is going to be in the end is definitely a really good way to go into school and have that mindset. Basically, learn your income-based options. Keep your income low on paper if you can. Invest more in your 401k. Invest more in your HSA. The more you invest in those types of options will actually lower how much money you make on paper, which will make it to where you pay less over time. And maybe you get that forgiveness after 20 years, but now you have a huge 401k. I know it's really tough, and I know things are expensive. Eggs are like $10 a freaking pack now, so I get if you can't do that. But the first step is going to be managing your student loans as you go into school. If it's already too late, like me, where you have student loans and now you've already finished school, the next best thing is just explore your options, contact your loan provider, see which loan option repayment plan is going to be best for you, and then do the Snowball or Avalanche method to basically tackle those loans in a very manageable way. Pay your minimum monthly, and try to snowball those loans down. If you have a reasonable interest rate, like 3 to 5%, it really is okay just to pay your minimum forever if you want. I'm personally going to tackle my loans with the Snowball method. I've used that in the past for credit cards, and it was a really good way for me to get debt free. So other than student loans and my mortgage now is the only 2 things that I actually have debt on, and I'm very proud of that. And student loans are my next big target that I'm going to take down. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, I would really appreciate a like. If you want to keep following more, I'm going to make more game-based content. The whole debt, the finances situation, I think it's a really fun way to think about finances. I think once you get a handle on your finances, it's actually becomes like a game, and it's really fun, and you can actually start to see your stats go up. And what I always say to other people is the more money you have, the stronger of a character you are. The less power your boss has over you, the less power other people have over you. If you hate your job, you can quit because you have an emergency fund. You're able to do a lot more freedom when you have more money and a better knowledge of money. So let's do this. You're not alone. Definitely look at your options and let's get this going. Let's take this boss down. So yeah, have a good one, and I'll see you around.